Good morning, everybody. This is Deanna with Food Bank Beautiful, and it is Thursday, September the 5th. Hope you guys are having a great Thursday. It is bright and sunny here, expected to be about 91 degrees. For those of you who watch me on a regular basis, you know I live in Washington State. So 91 degrees today is fabulous. I have a garden full of green tomatoes. I need those to turn color. So this clip is going to be about the Every Bit Counts challenge. Now, I just posted a video a day or two ago explaining that I was late, getting started on my Everything Counts challenge. I don't think that matters. And that, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, and that I might be doing more than one project per day, just depending on how I feel. I am starting to feel a little bit better. I slept really good last night, and I feel like I have energy to work on preserving some food today. So I'm going to bring you guys along. The first thing, and I am going to count this. I'll show this to you in a second. Over there is my dehydrator, and it is full of tomatoes, jalapenos. What else is in there? Oh, and some zucchini. So it's doing its thing. I will not be counting those things in my Every Bit Counts challenge. That's just a project that I started. Oh, it's got kale in it too. And as my stuff comes out of the garden or I have an excess, I'll dehydrate it and add it. I will show you those jars at the end of the Every Bit Counts challenge, but I won't be counting it as an additional project from here on out. However, I am going to count this because this was very fun. I was up this morning feeding my chickens and giving them treats, and my wild birds and my crows, love my crows. And I went ahead and started my seed gathering for next season. And I just want to show you how I do it. So I use these little cups, and I have the lids to them, but they're not on right now. And I go out and I gather the seeds. So this is a white with pink trim Cosmo. You can see that I wrote it right there. And then, because I can't remember what I pick while I'm out there, I just pop that flower on the top so that when I get in, I can label it correctly. Then I take it out to my greenhouse. I spread them out on a paper plate and they dry out there. So we have some white with pink trim Cosmo seeds. Then I was able to harvest some calendula. And it rained last night, so I do have seeds out there, but they're just too wet to gather. This is my favorite flower in my garden. This is the rose mallow, and it is just so lovely. And I've got some rose mallow. I have a bunch of this dried in the greenhouse that I'll harvest the seeds from on another day. This is Gerber daisy seeds, and I only have 3 Gerber daisies out there, and I think they were, I don't remember. Maybe they were yellow, purple, and orange. This one I think was the yellow one, and it was the only seed I was able to gather, so it doesn't really matter. And I've never grown daisies, so I don't know how that's going to be. And then this beauty. This is a seashell Cosmo. Can you see that? This bush is 7 feet tall. I've never seen a Cosmo love its life more than this one. So I was able to gather some seeds, but the seed heads are pretty wet, and so I'll check it in a couple days. Anyway, so I will continue to gather seeds, and we'll go from there. But I am going to count that as a preservation because, number one, I am preserving my flowers for next year. And number 2, not having to buy seed packets. Now, this year I did have to buy seed packets because we moved back to this house. My gardens were destroyed. We had to start from scratch. I had no seeds of any kind, and so I did. Sometimes you have to do that. But next year, I don't want to be paying for the simple seeds that I don't have to, right? So that is number 6. Look at that, you guys. Number 6. All right. So I am going to can some, I have some steaks in my freezer that have been in there for a while and I haven't used them. And so I'm going to can these steaks into chunks and use them for soups and beef stroganoff and tacos, whatever I want to do. I'll be doing that later today if all goes well. And then over here, I have some lamb. And then I have 3 packages. I won't hold them all up because they're cold. 3 packages of frozen hamburger. I'm going to make lamb and beef meatballs. And I'm going to freeze them if we don't eat them all, because my family loves my meatballs so much that they'll just gobble. And when I say they, I'm talking about my husband and my grandmother. But honestly, I can gobble meatballs. So you guys have seen me make the meatballs before, so I don't know if I'll show you that process or if I'll just take a still picture. But my goal today is to do 3 canning projects. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and get 4 quarts of beans ready to go and get those in the canner and get those going. There's no reason why I can't do that while I'm doing other things. This meat is frozen, but as soon as my beans are done, I can probably process these steaks and then I will make the meatballs. Is there anything else I'm going to do today? I might make some hot chocolate mix. I am going to count that because this is the time of year starting in October where we like to drink hot chocolate from now until about February or March. So I will go ahead and make my own, and I might make some more brownie mixes if I have enough cocoa. So that is the plan today. Stick around if you can, and hopefully we'll have some fun, and hopefully I'll get some things done. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 projects, 5 maybe if I make the cocoa mix. So then would go from 5 to 10. Let's get this done. Girl wants to preserve. All right, I hope you guys are having a great day. I read your comments the other day on the last video that I dropped, and one of you, I don't remember who it was commenting that she loves that I wear my pajamas. Girl, you are absolutely 100% right. I live in pajamas if I don't have anything else to do. However, this morning I did put on some real clothes. I have on some beige pineapple shorts, which I'm not going to show you because I have fat Eastern European legs. Probably some hairy legs. And then I had this little shirt, but I'll show you the top because it's so cute. All right, let me go get my beans sorted and I'll get that started. I've got to sterilize jars and get it all ready, but let's do it. Let's get some stuff done today. All right, I'll be back. All right, over here in my canner is 4 quart jars. They are sterilizing in my electric canner, and that takes a little while, but that's okay. I've got other things that I can be working on. The first thing I want to get done this morning is I want to make some cocoa mix. And this is what I have left. And I just moved it from a quart jar into a pint jar. So I want to use this first. But I'm making a little bit different recipe today. So I don't want to combine this and this. So this is from a website called 31 Daily, and I'm only using their recipe for inspiration. I am not following it directly. So in my bowl, if you will, is 2/3 cup of cocoa, and 1 1/3 cup of white sugar. Let's bring it down here. I'm going to throw in a pinch of salt, and basically that is the same recipe that was in here. And there are all kind of, if you just look up instant cocoa without milk, you'll find a ton of websites. Just go pick the one that matches your ingredients and go for it. What this one says is to add a teaspoon of espresso powder. I don't have espresso powder, but I have instant coffee. So I'm adding about, a little bit more than it called for, maybe a tablespoon. And that is what I'm going to use for this cocoa this morning. Now I'm going to take my fingers and just make it all lump free, mix it up and put it in a jar. I'll come back and show you that jar, and then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to clean some beans, because there's no reason why my pressure canner shouldn't be working for me today while I'm waiting for my meat to thaw, because that's at least a couple of hours. So I'll be back. All right, and just like that, I have about a 1/2 quart's worth of hot cocoa mix. It says it makes 20 servings, and then in this one, I have my other cocoa, but I don't want to combine the two because I added espresso powder or instant coffee powder to this, and I just don't want to combine them. So this is done. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some brownie mix in a jar. And I think instead of making it in pint sizes and baking it in 8x8s or 9x9s, I'm going to double the recipe and pop it in a quart jar and then bake it in a 9x11. I seem to like that better. So let me clean this up and then we'll come back and I'll show you that. I might just show you when it's finished, because you've seen me make brownies in a jar and you've seen me make the brownies a lot. So preservation done number 2 today. That didn't sound right, did it? Oh well, have a little chuckle. All right. And just like that, I have a quart size, which is a double batch of a recipe of brownie mix from Sugar Spun Run. You can look them up and you can find their brownie mix in a jar. This is a double recipe for a 9x11 pan. All right, we got that done. All right, let me see what beans I have, and then I will sit down, take a break, and can or sort through my beans. Let me see which beans I have. Okay, moving on to the next project. I have enough dry beans to do 2 quarts of navy and 2 quarts of pinto. So that's what I'm going to do today. Now, I have already canned navy beans, so it's kind of a little, I'm not going to count the navy beans, but I am going to count the pinto beans because I haven't done any pinto beans for the 30-day Every Bit Counts challenge. So let me go ahead, sit down. I need to rest anyway. I'm going to sort these beans, and then I will come back and can them. Okay, I have canned my beans, got them ready to pressure can. So I have 2 cans of navy. That's the first can of navy. Here's the second jar of navy. And 2 jars of pinto. Here's the second one. All right. So those are quart size jars. So I'm going to process for 90 minutes in my pressure canner. I will show them to you at the end of the day after they've cooled, and then we'll add them to our pantry shelves. There we go. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my dishes. I don't have a lot, but my counters are a little bit messy. And then I'm going to, Who knows? I don't know yet. We'll see. Let me get the dishes done and then we'll figure it out. Okay. It is 2:49 in the afternoon and I am now starting to make another canned recipe. I'm using my ball canning and preserving book. On page 275, I will be following the directions for the beef stroganoff. And I've kind of started already. I added some hot water to my jar to keep them warm. The recipe calls for 2 pounds of beef chuck, which is actually, I'm making a double recipe. So 4 pounds of beef chuck, and I think I had 3.5 pounds. Good enough, people. And then this calls for 1 cup mushrooms and 1 cup onions to be divided between 2 quart jars. So I have mushrooms that are already canned that I canned this summer on my shelves, and I don't want to use those pre-canned mushrooms in this recipe. I will add those mushrooms when I cook the beef stroganoff on the night I make it for dinner. So in here I have added about 1/2 cup of onion. So there's 1/2 cup of onion and the meat equally divided between all 4 jars. Now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste per each quart. So let me see if I can bring you down here and you guys can see what I'm doing. All right, 2 tablespoons. Let me just make sure. Yes, 2 tablespoons per quart jar. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Can you guys see? Yeah, you can see. You're all right. 2, 1, and 2. Okay, so my tomato paste is in. Now it's going to call for some dry seasoning. All right, I'm back. Per jar, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of canning salt. Remember that you never want to use iodized salt when you can. And I believe that's the kind of salt that I have in my salt shaker. So I always use pickling salt or canning salt. 1 teaspoon of salt per jar. We've got that in. We're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper to each jar. And I've got that right here. Half a teaspoon. Hold on. It's 1/2 tablespoon. That looked big. All right, 1/2 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon. Then we're going to add 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, which I have right here. Let me double check it. Yes, okay. So we have 1, 1, 1, and 1. And then I believe it's also going to call for 1 teaspoon of parsley per quart. Okay. 1, 1, 1. Whoa! I missed the whole jar. There we go. And 1. And then it's going to ask me for 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce per jar. So let's do that. So 1, 2, There's one. Oh no, I'm out of Worcestershire sauce. But I knew I was going to be close to being out a couple weeks ago, so I ordered another jar. So here's tablespoon number 2 right there. One. Two. One. And 2. There we go. That's good. And then the last thing we're going to add, it says add 2 garlic cloves, but you know me, if you watch me, you know I just absolutely hate to deal with garlic, so I use jarred garlic. So we're going to add a teaspoon of garlic per jar. 1, 1, 1, and 1. That's as easy as that was, people. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of the water up to the top, and then we'll debubble and we'll put the lids on. Now, you guys have seen me do that 100 times, so I'm not going to do it for you here, but I will bring you back when I put my jars in the canner. All right, I have 3 jars filled. I'm going to go ahead and show you that rim. I know you all know how to do it, but let's do it together anyway, this last one. So I have a little less than 1 inch. So I'm just going to bring that up to the 1 inch mark. There we go. Perfect. A little bit of vinegar on my paper towel. I'm just going to go around that edge and make sure that it's squeaky clean, that nothing sticky is there. Feel it with my finger. It feels good. I'm going to add a new lid. You always want to use new flat lids when you're canning. You can reuse the rings. You're going to tighten that lid fingertip tight. And that's how we do it. It's going to process for, I think, 90 minutes. Quarts. Yep, 90 minutes. All right. Let me put that right there. So let's go ahead and put this into the canner. Can you guys see the canner right there? Okay. I have fairly hot water in the bottom of my canner. My jars have hot water in them. There we go. All right. We are good. Now, I'm going to go ahead, and I know that it's the right time because I'm at 10,000 feet elevation or less. So 90 minutes, here we go. We are going to hit, well, first of all, we're going to lock our lid, pressure cook, high, 90 minutes. Right there, start. And we're going to make sure the pressure cooker is on exhaust. And people, that is all there is to it. So you can't see it right now, and my jars are way too hot to pick up and show you, but my 2 cans of kidneys and my 2 cans of navy beans are sitting right here on the counter. They all look really good. 1 can did siphon about 1 inch, but it's perfect. My beans are covered in liquid, nothing to worry about. So that's what we got done today. Sorry, my nose just wants to run a little bit. Sorry. Your girl is a pagan beast, people. Okay, so that is done. Now, it is 3 o'clock. And at 5 o'clock, I have a class, a 2-hour class that I'm taking tonight online. It's class 3 out of 4 on women who run with wolves. My cousin Laura, you hear me talk about her all the time. She and I take this class together. So I don't know if I'll have time before that class, but certainly after that class, I'm going to mix up my meatballs and get those fried up, cooled, and some in the refrigerator and some in the freezer. And then we will have done everything that I wanted to do today. Now, I have some chicken breasts in the freezer that tomorrow, let's see, I'm going to make a couple jars of chicken chili verde and chicken curry meals in a jar, also on page 274 of the same, well, I don't know where the, you know which cookbook it is, people. What did I do with the front page? Right there. Okay? All right, that's my plan anyway, unless I don't have the energy tomorrow, and then I'm more than happy to give myself some grace and wait for a day where I do have enough energy. I'm going to sit back down and rest a little bit. I'm very happy that this is done. So we did very well, you guys. We got it all done today. So I hope you're getting everything done that you want done today. And I will see you when I show you these jars when they come out. And if I actually get the meatballs made today, I'll show you that too. All right, I'll be back. All right, it is, I don't know what time it is. I went to look at my clock on this, oh, does the microwave say it? Oh, it's 4:20. It is 4:20 in the afternoon. And you can hear my steamer canner, pressure canner over here working away on those beautiful jars of beef stroganoff. So I took a little break and then I came in, and without you, I mixed up my meatball mix. So my meatball mix is super easy. I had some ground lamb and some ground beef, approximately 5 pounds. So I put all of that in there. I added about 2.5 cups of breadcrumbs, 4 eggs, a bottle of Walmart steak sauce, tastes like Heinz 57, a couple of leftover tablespoons of tomato paste that I had from the stroganoff, about 2 cups of diced onion, salt, pepper, garlic, and I think that's it. I like my meatballs really simple. Now, normally I fry them, but today I am not in the mood to stand over a frying pan, so we're going to bake them, and you know what? They're still going to be yummy scrummy. So, I make my meatballs about the size of a golf ball, and I just stick them on a cookie sheet lined with parchment paper, bake them at 375 for about 30 minutes, and they are perfect. And 30 minutes is about what I have, because in 30 minutes I have a class. So my family will eat meatballs for dinner tonight, and if I have time, I might make a pot of rice. We'll see. I don't know. I did, however, use all of my breadcrumbs. I'm completely out of breadcrumbs, so I'm going to add breadcrumbs to my Every Bit Counts challenge. I've got a lot of bread in the freezer. Some of it's been there for a while, so I'm going to dig out the oldest bread, and I'm going to make 1 or 2 gallons of breadcrumbs. Put 1 in a jar and throw the rest, all of it, in the freezer, but I'll just replenish the jar. So I will bring you back and show you this before I stick it in the oven, and then I'll show it to you when it comes out. All right, I'm excited about this. My family loves my meatballs. All right, my hands are gross, so I'm going to turn off the camera, and I'll be back to you in a few minutes. Okay, let's see if I can show you. Over on the stove is a cookie sheet with 35 good-sized meatballs on it. And down here are the remaining 5, 10, 15, 18. So I have, I don't know how many, 53 meatballs, I guess, maybe. Check my math. I don't care about my math. Got something in my eye, though, and it's burning. That's weird. Okay. All right, so I'm going to pop these in the oven for 30 minutes, which is perfect timing because my class is in 30 minutes. And we'll have meatballs for a long time. All right. Those were very easy and fun to make. I'm glad I got that off my list. All right. I finished my class tonight. This is a class that I take online called Women Who Run with Wolves. It is so good. It's a 2-hour class every 4 weeks. And this was the third one. I have one more to do in a month. And then if she teaches other lectures, I'm going to do them because that's fabulous. But in the time that I took that class, I was able to pull my meatballs out of the oven. Holy crap, people, they are so yummy. And my beef stroganoff is ready to come out of the canner. So here it is. And I have 4 jars of it. And I think that it is going to be absolutely delicious when I make it for my family on a night where I just don't want to cook. Now I know you guys have the same kind of nights I do. We're all busy. We all have priorities. Things that have to be done, whether we want to do them or not. Here's my 4th jar. All right. So today, let's recap of what we did for the Every Bit Counts challenge. Let me think about what we did. First of all, we gathered seeds, right? We went into the garden, and by we, I mean I, but you guys, you know, vicariously through me. We picked a bunch of seeds off our flowers, planning for next year, so good for us. Then we made hot cocoa mix, right? And that's going to be yummy. It's starting to head towards fall, and sometimes at night I like to make popcorn and have hot chocolate with my family. Then we made a brownie mix. We doubled it so we could put it in a 9x13 pan. And then we canned 2 quarts of navy beans and 2 quarts of pinto beans. And you know what? We didn't stop there. We made 4 quarts of beef stroganoff. And, excuse me, we made about 57 meatballs. Is that not lovely? Look at that, you guys. Now there's another pan that while I was in class, I fed Grandma, and then my husband got into them, and sadly, so did I. No shame, people. So good. Hold on, let me taste them for you. Okay. Girl with the fork. All right. It's got a little bit of fat on the bottom, but I don't care. I'll have to wrap these up. I'll probably put a dozen or so of the remaining meatballs in the freezer. And then we'll eat these for a few days, because when we have meatballs, not a one of us will eat anything other than meatballs in the refrigerator. So here it is. It's browned on the top, which is lovely. It's nice and moist in the middle. The breadcrumbs just make the texture so lovely. It tastes really good. And there's a little bit of scrap of Heinz 57 sauce on this tray, so I dipped it in there. Let's go ahead and taste a bite. This is a big bite. Those are perfect. On a scale of 1 to 10, they got to be a 12 or a 13. You know, I don't mind bragging about myself because I also show you guys all of my stinking flaws. You've seen me make a big turkey dinner and have some side dishes that were awful. You saw me ruin some baklava. I think I even messed up a cake one time. So when it's good, I'll let you know, and when it's crap, I'm gonna let you know that too. Okay, that's what we did today. Now I'll go ahead and post this video maybe tonight, and then we'll see what preservation projects I do tomorrow. If any, it might have to be a house cleaning day. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, it was great fun, and I hope you guys had fun too. All right, take care. Ta-ta. I'm back. So here are the meatballs that are going into my freezer. This will be for meals somewhere down the line. My future self loves me. My present self has these meatballs to go in the refrigerator, and my present self loves me too. So let's review for a minute. I can't remember what we made. We made something. What did we make? Well, I can't remember what it is right now, but we made something for the freezer. Then we made meatballs. Then we made 4 jars of meal stuff. So we're doing great. So what is that? 6 or 7 lovely little nights in the next 6 months that I will not have to cook when I am tired. So I love it. Now, if I had the energy, tomorrow I've got a bunch of chicken breasts in the freezer that I need to pull out. I do like to fry them for my husband, and I might do some for him tomorrow. But I think I'm going to use those to make some chicken in a meal jars and see if I can get some space reclaimed in my freezer.